So the 15-minute portrait session edit, we're going to go through this step by step. I'm going to give you tips in camera. I'm going to show you what we're going to do in the actual edit itself. We're going to do all of it. Our meme of the lecture, and I've got all the LFGs coming through. This is awesome. Carlos, Rafael, Havana, Greg, Laura, let's effing go. The meme of today's lecture, when the software crashes and you forgot to save your project. I don't even have a picture of him. He only exists now in my memory. If you remember where this is from, type that in the comments too. I'm going to say this, Lightroom Classic is a catalog-based system, and it does have a tendency to not only crash, but sometimes your catalogs will go corrupt. So in addition to backing up your photographs, make sure that you're regularly backing up your catalogs itself, okay? And you guys got it. It's Titanic, the Love Boat. All right. Step one, let's talk in-camera efficiency. So a good editing workflow begins in camera. We have to start with this first. So I'm just going to give you a few tips when it comes to in-camera efficiency, okay? So I want you to use eye and face tracking features, specifically if you are a portrait photographer, which most of you are. Eye and face tracking features so that we're getting less misses, okay? We want to track eyes and not use like generic kind of contrast-based focus systems, because we'll tend to get a lot more blurry images, which obviously we're going to have to cull through. I also want you to only use high frame rates when absolutely necessary. If you're shooting a couple walking down the aisle, there is no need to be shooting like 30 frames a second of this. And by the time they're at the end of the aisle, you've got 600 shots across 10 seconds worth of actual time. There's no need for that. So instead, choose the frame rate that's appropriate. So again, we're not creating tons of images to have to cull through. We want just enough. By the way, that doesn't mean like shoot single frames. It means like there's different modes that you can set it to. Okay. The next thing is, this is a big one. I want you to shoot small or compressed RAW if your camera gives you that ability. So I shoot on the Canon R5 and it has a compressed RAW feature where I'm getting the full RAW resolution. I'm getting almost all the quality. Like it's imperceivable, the difference in quality. And it's going to give me files that are half the size, if not less. And what this does is it makes it so you can process much faster on your computer. The smaller the file sizes, the quicker your hard drive, Lightroom Classic, can access those images and make changes, okay? As well as exporting, importing, all of that. So those are the three big keys when it comes to efficiency in the in-camera process. I would also say like shooting manual and using manual flash so you're getting more consistent exposures is a big deal. But since we're doing a lot of our editing now with, we're going to be using Impossible Things to do AI editing, the consistency of exposures is great. I would still say like you should do it, but the editing software is actually going to make up for a lot of that. So that kind of falls out of the key elements that I would say now that are really important, but it's still a great practice. Dial in your white balance, shoot manual exposures, shoot manual flash so you're getting consistency. That way, if you did want to edit with just your own presets or whatever, that way it's that much quicker as well. Okay. Any questions on this, please let me know. I want to jump now to step two. So before you edit, there's a few things that we need to do when it comes to Lightroom Classic itself. I actually have a complete Lightroom Classic editing guide, like how to maximize speed and efficiency inside of Lightroom Classic. That's a separate lecture. If you guys would like that, you can type in LR speed into, actually, you know what, I'll put up a separate post and I'll make it a separate post. That way it's easy to track your guys' comments. But I would dive into that for all the complete details. For now, I'm just going to give you a quick set of notes. So I want you to work off of a local high-speed hard drive. Ideally, it's an SSD, okay? Local meaning like it's not a network-attached drive. It is a local drive. And if you're using an external SSD, make sure it's a high-speed SSD that's at least attached through USB-C, okay? We need fast transfer speeds, because if we don't have that, that becomes the first bottleneck when it comes to Lightroom Classic, is Lightroom is just having a hard time accessing the images in a quick and efficient way. So the first thing is a local high-speed drive, ideally an SSD. It's either internal or external through a fast USB-C port, okay? Next, optimizing Lightroom Classic. That's where we have that separate lecture where I'm gonna post and reference for you guys. Next, you're gonna render smart previews, okay? And I'm gonna show you this piece of it. So we have two options here: render smart previews and work off those smart previews. Or if you encounter the smart preview bug, the bug basically slows down editing with smart previews. I think this should be fixed for most of you. Adobe did an update for this, but if you happen to run into this issue, I'm going to give you a workaround as well. So let's do this. Let's dive over to Lightroom so I can actually show you. Let's go right here. Okay, you guys should all be seeing my Lightroom Classic screen. My goal today is to not have a single flub when it comes to showing you guys where we're doing the screen switching, okay? What I'm gonna do is press Control, comma, or Command, comma if you are on a Mac. And what we're gonna do is go under this performance side right here. Right here you see it says enable or use smart previews instead of originals for image editing. I want you to select this. Before you start working on the images, what you're gonna do, and you can do this actually on import too because it's fairly quick, you're gonna go to the edit menu. And we're gonna go to edits, and I apologize, my edit menu is actually on the left side because I'm using a gigantic screen. So we're gonna go to the we're gonna go to the menu setup, and we're gonna go to previews, and you're gonna click build build smart previews, okay? When I do that, you're gonna see Lightroom render out the smart previews, and now I'm editing from those smart previews. So just a heads up, because you didn't see exactly where it was on my screen, you go library, previews, and then build smart previews. That's how you find it, okay? So if you find that when you're editing with smart previews, it's laggy, that's the Adobe bug that we were talking about, which you can try updating Lightroom Classic and see if that fixes it. If not, then with all the images selected again, press Control A or Command A. This time you're gonna go to the same menu. So go to the library menu, go to previews, and this time go to build one-to-one previews. This is gonna take quite a bit longer. I've actually already rendered one-to-one previews on this machine, so that way it's ready to go. But we want to do this before we dive into the culling process and the editing process, because without those previews rendered, you're going to be spending a lot of time just moving from image to image and waiting for Lightroom to actually render those previews. So let's go back to side by side and let me pull up our slide deck, okay? So render smart previews and work from smart previews, right? If you encounter that bug, let's go back to Lightroom real quick and let me pull this up. Let me put it on screen. If you encounter that bug, I want you to go back to the preferences by pressing Control, comma, or Command, comma. Go back to the Performance tab and deselect Use Smart Previews instead of Originals, okay? So if you have the bug and it's slowing down with that, just disable this, and then you're gonna work from your one-to-one previews instead. But we're gonna keep it enabled. It's working fine right now, and we don't see an issue there. So let's jump back over to our slides. All right, so far so good. Haven't messed up yet. Knock on wood. All right. Let me see if we have any comments or any questions right now. Okay, good. We're all good so far. So step 3, how to make culling simple. So what we're going to be doing is what we call a culling in methodology. We only deliver around 10 to 20% of the images that we shoot. And this is just like a general number, okay? Some people might be more, some people might be less. This is just a general idea. What this means though, if we're selecting let's say that we're selecting rejects. If we go, okay, I'm going to reject this image and we're only delivering 10 to 20%, that means that we're pressing the reject button 80% of the time. So we have a lot more keystrokes. Let's say that we want a little bit more of a complicated system of like culling, where we go, oh, I'm gonna rate these images like while I go. So let me give you an example. I'm gonna pull this up. So while I go, I'm gonna rate this. Oh, this is a 1-star image. No, this is like a 2-star image. This is, oh, I might actually like deliver this one. That's a good one. Oh, this one, maybe like this one's like a portfolio image. It's gonna be a 5-star, right? We're adding a lot of cognitive load to our process, meaning as you work from image to image, we have to think about a lot of different things. This dramatically slows you down in terms of culling. So we want a very simple culling process. And because we know that we're only delivering 10 to 20%, we're only going to press one keystroke, the flag button. You can choose any button you'd like, but we're going to press the pick button to flag an image as a keeper if we want to keep it. Otherwise, we're not going to press anything. We're not going to do anything. This is a culling in workflow. We essentially assume that every image is a reject unless we press pick to keep it. And if we end up, kind of finishing the whole thing, anything that is remaining unpicked becomes a rejected image that eventually gets deleted. Okay. So let me go back to the slide for just 1 second to kind of reiterate these points. So we're going to cull from, these are really big keys, okay? You're going to cull from the library module inside of Lightroom Classic because the develop module uses develop previews. So if you're culling inside of the develop module, immediately it's going to run slower. We're going to start with all images being rejected, or you can leave them unpicked. We're going to press P to keep an image if we want it. And overall, this reduces the cognitive load because we have one simple rule. Does this next image add to the story and add to the quality of my delivery. If the next image adds to the story and the overall quality, then yes, we flag it by pressing P, or if you want to use a star, if you want to use a color, it doesn't matter. Give it some marker. We're going to choose P. If not, we're just going to leave it alone. So that way we have one keystroke through this entire process. Now let me show you exactly how to do it. So what I'm going to do is pull up Lightroom. We're going to go picture in picture. Okay. You can, if you'd like, you can start by selecting all the images and marking them as rejects. That's optional. I like to leave them as unpicked, mainly because I use this thumbnail browser below to actually see the images, and when they're rejected, I can't see them clearly. So I like to leave everything just unpicked. This is what I wanted to show you. So if we press E to go to loop view inside of the library module, look at how fast these images will load, right? But as soon as I jump to the develop module, now watch, I'm going to start pressing over. You'll start to see it slowing down. Because I've rendered one-to-one previews, it's doing better right now. But in general, and this is depending on the speed of your machine, I'm working on a pretty fast machine, there's a dramatic slowdown when moving from image to image inside of the develop module, okay? So stay in the library module when it comes to culling, especially when we're just culling off of smart previews. All right, now with this setup, I'm gonna go ahead and press my timer because I want to walk you through the process. I want you to see how quickly I'm culling these images. And it's gonna be a little bit slower than I typically would on my own, but we can still get through this in a very quick time. So let me start the timer and let's go ahead and start jumping through. So as soon as I see an image that's worth keeping, I'm gonna go ahead and press P. I'm looking at the images below to see and scan for good images, okay? To see like when I'm switching to a different frame. All right, so this one, the smile's a little bit off. I'm gonna pick that. Okay, this is cute. He's leaning into her, I like it. Oh, and I like this. They're all looking at her. Oh, I love that. Now look, I'm looking down below and I see over here, Dad kind of comes into the frame. This is the shot right here. See, this shot's not quite as good. If I choose both these, it's not really adding to the quality or the deliverable. Oh, this is cute. I love Mom throwing her up in the air. This is really cute too. Later I'll pick and see which one of those I like more. Dad lifting her is nice, but the hair is crossing over the face. This one I might keep just for them. Or maybe even this one actually, because the expression's a little bit better. But the hair is going a little bit wonky in those, so I'm not going to pick too many. Oh, I love when she turns in and smiles right there. That's really cute. Okay, so notice how I'm leaving most of these. I'm looking at her expression mainly because we're doing the shoot. If you look at the time, this is at 6:20 in the morning. So they got her up at 6:20 to come and do the shoot. So yeah, it was a little bit challenging to get her smiling. That's really cute. I want him kind of looking at her though in this one. Oh, I love that. See how Mom's hair covers her face there, but there it's open. So that's the shot right there. Perfect. We got Dad, her looking over and playing with Mom. Mom's hair is covered right here, so I'm just going to leave it with the other two. Oh, this is really cute. Her playing with Dad in the sand. I like this one of her looking up and out. This one's even better. She's kind of looking right into the camera there. Oh, we even got a smile in this one. So what I'll probably do is as I'm editing, I'm going to remove some of those because they're a little bit of a duplication on some. This is cute. Him pointing out, them playing. This is the close-up. Oh, there's a smile. So I'm going to unpick this one. Okay, Mom with her. Now I'm scanning again the bottom to kind of see like where the expressions change and where the scene changes. So right here, I love this smile. And then we have her nuzzling her. That's super cute. Oh, we have her playing with Mom. That's really great. Okay, and then here we go. There's the full-length shot and with the smile right there. I'm only picking one of those. Oh, I love the laugh. That's fantastic. Okay, so you can see how we're kind of going pretty quickly through the set. This is about how fast the culling process should be. And I want you all to, when you're culling, ideally you're culling just after the shoot or as soon as possible after the shoot. Because when the images are fresh, you tend to know better what you've kind of shot and what's necessary to keep. So it's really nice to cull like, you know, same day, if not day after, week of. If you let it sit for a couple weeks, then you start to forget what was shot and you kind of spend a lot more time looking through each image. Oh, that's cute. Them playing with her right there. Water's coming in, but there's no smile, so we're going to leave that one. Let's see if we got a... Nope, their eyes aren't open. Okay. Oh, that's a cute one. We got all of them smiling into the camera. Okay, switch scenes. Let's see here. This is, I think, when we're about to give her a lollipop because we saw she was fading. This is only like less than 20 minutes in the shoot. She's fading. She's like, I'm kind of done with this, guys. Oh, that's funny. I like that one. Oh, that's a good smile. For some reason, when Dad was doing this, she was like, I'm not having it when Dad does it. I'll keep one of these just so we have it. Oh, there's a little smile. But Mom's doing something odd in this one, so I'm going to leave those out. Here we go. There's the sucker. Now she's playing with Mom and Dad with that little sucker, and that's beautiful. That's super cute. She gives it to Mom a little bit, pulls it back, gives it to Dad. That's cute. Okay. I like this, but look at Mom's expression. Her expression's not good, so we're going to kind of leave that one out. This one's cute right here. Oftentimes I'll shoot shots of like kind of a little bit of scene details, just so if we're going to go for an album, or if we're going to print something, we have some of the some other elements to kind of work with. Oh, that's the one right there. So this one, the expression's not good. That one's awesome. Now they're playing. Oh, that's super cute. She feeds Mom a little bit. Oh, I like that. And she smiles and gives it to Dad. Some of these are like really fun, so I'm just going to keep them because they're kind of cute and fun. Now, this scene was one that they wanted. Like, they're like, can we get palm trees? The only way I could get palm trees without getting a bunch of junk in the background was sitting them on this bench. So we'll keep one of those, and we'll also keep, they wanted to do a couple shots on this before we wrapped up. This whole shoot was like 30 minutes, basically. So let's go right there. We'll keep that one. That's a cute smile. And we'll keep one of these right here. I love it with the Mom's hand on her head, and then kind of she pulls into a Mom right there. That's cute. Okay. So I'm going to press stop now. This is me talking through this edit, right? And that was 5 minutes and 20 seconds to cull through what was 330 images. I would expect you all to, if we're not talking, if we're focused on culling, that this would put us around, let's see, 330. So multiply that by about 20, right? No. And my numbers are way off. Multiply by 12. So we should be able to get through 3,000 to 4,000 images an hour pretty easily by just simply focusing, because this is me talking through it in 5 minutes and 20 seconds, right? So now when I look back at this, I have, oh, this is perfect. I have 60 images, which was, I think that was actually the number that we were delivering on this, was the gallery is supposed to be 60 images. So this is great. But if there's, as I'm working through this process, if there's anything else that I want to cull out, like if I notice like, okay, one of these shots is a little bit of a duplicate, I'm going to trim it out, then I would, okay? So feel like as you're going through that final edit, feel free to cut things out that don't need to be there. So again, is it adding to the story and the quality of my deliverable? I want a client. Let me go back to side by side right here, and let's bring up this this little view. Okay, I want you guys to really hone in on this. The overall quality of your deliverable is equivalent to basically the worst images you're delivering, right? Because if clients see nothing but great images in that deliverable, then their impression is, this is amazing, this is awesome. But as soon as they see, oh, this is okay, this one's average, this one's not that great, as soon as they start doing the culling process, then their overall perception of you drops. Their perception drops to like, well, this is good. I mean, it's not incredible, but it's good. So we control the perception by what we're choosing to keep. So we have to remember this culling rule. Does the next image add to the story of the overall story I'm telling and to the quality of my delivery? If it doesn't, we leave it rejected. You also notice that when I'm going through that culling process, the cognitive load, what I'm thinking, sorry, I use psychology terms because that's my background, but the processing in my mind is very simple. It's, do I keep this or do I go to the next image? I'm not thinking, does this belong in my portfolio? Does this belong on Instagram? Does this belong here? I'm going to do this 3 stars, 4 stars. I keep it very, very simple because that's how we get to a fast system. Now, at the end of this, when you're done processing, when you're done editing, then by all means, if you'd like to mark a few images for portfolio, for social media, do it then. But don't make that part of your culling process. The culling process should be as simple as just, am I keeping this image or am I going to the next one? And to keep it, it needs to qualify to adding to the story and adding to my deliverable, the quality of my delivery. Okay. If there's any questions on that, please let me know. Let me go ahead and just check over here. Abisai said she's fading. Yeah, it was like 15 minutes in and she was fading, right? This was only like a 35, I think it was a 30 or 45-minute family session during sunrise. Meredith said it usually takes me weeks to cull. Yeah, usually because we didn't, like, this culling process can be either 1 to 2 hours or it can be weeks. And it all depends on those kind of previous rules we were talking about. Not only do we need to be doing this, we need to be starting with an efficient in-camera system of, like, shooting. Then we need to be doing the culling relatively shortly after the shoot, so we're still familiar with it. And then we need to follow this simplicity in the rules. And if we do that, our team is held to a 3,000 to 4,000 image culling per hour. That is their baseline standard. Some of them can cull 5,000, 6,000 images within an hour. And that means you can do an entire wedding. An entire wedding could be culled in an hour. And that saves you a tremendous amount of time. So we've got 5 minutes and 20 seconds so far on our clock, okay? Let's go on to the next step of this. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our slides, and let's check this out. So step 4 is the first pass of the color grade. So we're going to use an AI for the color grade. And I'm going to show you our favorite kind of tools and workflow, but this is kind of where we're going to allow AI to handle everything, and you can substitute whatever things you'd like to use in the process of this. I'll kind of tell you exactly how I do things, okay? What we're going to be using is Impossible Things. So Impossible Things is an AI editing plugin that is native to Lightroom Classic. It's one that we worked with on the develop team to help them kind of create this plugin for Lightroom. You can download it at things.co and you get 500 free credits that come with it. The benefits is that it's right there inside of Lightroom Classic. It works with any of your pre-installed presets, so you can use any preset with this. It's already pre-optimized as well if you're using Visual Flow presets or develop preset packs. So all of the official Visual Flow and develop preset packs are optimized and ready to go for Impossible Things. We can also do custom tuning, and I'm going to show you kind of all these different things. The way we're going to get there is we go to the file menu. Again, I can't show you the file menu. The file menu, plugin extras, edit photos. That's how we get to the dialog. So let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to select the 60 images that I have here. We're going to go to the file menu, plugin extras, and edit photos, and I'm going to bring this right into the center of my screen so you guys can see it. So this is native to Lightroom Classic as a plugin, and all you're going to do is just choose the preset that you'd like to use. So it's going to show all the presets that I have available over here in the develop module. So for example, if I just go ahead and cancel out of this for 1 second and go to the develop module, whatever presets that I have installed and visible here, that's what's going to show up inside of Impossible Things, okay? This makes it very powerful because you can use presets that you've purchased from Develop or Visual Flow. You can use presets that you've made yourself. You can use presets that you've bought from other companies. They just might not be optimized, which means you need to kind of optimize them. Before you go through this process of like editing, what I would highly recommend is that you do the custom tuning. We have a specific tutorial on how to set up Impossible Things custom tuning. So I'll link that up separately if you kind of want that. Oops. Dang it. Meredith says, hang on, we don't see the whole screen. Meredith, my bad. I knocked on wood and still I flubbed it. That's all right. I'll show you again. So this is the custom tuning menu inside of Impossible Things. And I'd recommend that regardless of what you're going to be editing, make sure that you run your custom tuning first because you can make your tweaks and adjustments before you start processing. So let's go ahead and jump back. See, oh, phew, fixed it. This is why we have comments and why I check them. So you guys can call me. Well, this wasn't bullshit, but it was a good solid mistake here. All right, plugin extras, edit photos. Let me bring up that dialog. So this is the edit photo dialog right here. So this is where I'm going to choose a preset. So the typical style that we use inside of Lin and Jirsa is Visual Flow Modern, okay? I think you guys saw the screen where it basically will, anything that shows up in this list are the same items that show up in your preset menu over here on the left. So if you've hidden any presets, they'll be hidden from this view as well. So we're going to choose modern. I'm going to choose soft light. The ones that have, if you notice that there's like with each of these packs for Visual Flow, the soft light and black and white are the ones that are checked off. That means that they've been tuned and they're ready to go. That's the preset that you should be using with Impossible Things, unless you have other stylistic reasons you want to be doing something else. So all we're going to do now is turn on whether we want like the perceptive cropping. I'm going to leave cropping off. I do want adaptive noise reduction. I do want the lens correction. I want perceptive straightening as well. I also want to leave off the AI enhance features because I like to use our retouching toolkit for that. And when we're ready, we're going to hit proceed. It's going to it's going to go through 60 images. You'll notice it says for available credits, I have an unlimited plan. I'm one of the founders of this. So that's important, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press start on my timer again. So you guys can see my timer, hopefully you can see it, is at 5 minutes and 20 seconds, okay? So let's go ahead and hit proceed. I'm going to press start, and I'll talk you kind of through a little bit what's happening. It's going to precondition the images, and then it's uploading these thumbnails to the server, and you'll see it kick them back with all the adjustments made, okay? So if I zoom out and kind of look at this, you'll be able to see them literally be edited right in front of your eyes. So it's going through this and it's editing them all with that modern style. Now, whatever preset you choose, it's going to be edited in that style. So if you choose a preset that you don't really like, then of course, you're not really going to like the results that it's giving you, right? And also, if you choose, say, Visual Flow Modern or whatever pack that you want to use, it's still a great idea to tune it for yourself. Because some of you might want those images to be a little bit cooler. Maybe you want your images a little bit brighter. We all have kind of our own style. So treat the preset that you use as a baseline and give it a set of custom tuning to kind of like, give it your specific look and your specific taste. So with that now, there it goes. All images are done. That was 1 minute. So now our timer is at 6 minutes and 20 seconds, okay? Let's go back up to the top. All right, and you can see that what it's done is not only applied the preset, but it's also done the color grading. It's made basic tone adjustments for each of the images. And now this is where I'm going to do a simple pass. So I'll usually just do a simple pass. Let me go ahead and hit start. And let me do this first. Let's go back to our slides to make sure we've covered everything. Okay, so I'm going to go side by side for just one moment. So the last step, step 5 in this, was to do the advanced edits. This is where you're going to put in finishing touches. I like to say that Impossible Thing is going to do 90% of the color grading work, like you guys just saw. Now in the review process, it's your chance to kind of put in the final 10%. Make little tweaks here and there if you want to do. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that I would do to an image. But this is basically where we're at. And you can see if we had 15 minutes to edit this, I've only used 6 minutes and 20 seconds right now. Kathy's like, OMG. Okay. Yes, this is how quick our process can be. Let me go ahead and go back to picture in picture. Only one mess up, team. I'm only doing one mess up today. So now I'm just going to start going through. I'm going to press the start button. I like to do just a simple pass just to kind of see like colors, make sure everything is good. And oh my goodness, everything is solid. If these are a little bit cool, I might bump these up a little bit. There we go. And I just selected all 3. This one might be a tiny bit bright, tiny bit warm. Okay, I can go to the next one, just press previous. This is good, good. Almost everything is done for me. Now this one is a little bit warmer than this one, right? So I'm going to go to this one, go back and just hit previous right there to sync them. Awesome. And we keep making improvements. Jeff is on the back end working through Impossible Things to continually make improvements to it. I'm going to hit previous on that one. Okay. Now, the adjustments that I'm making, I don't think most clients would really even notice. So you could probably just call this good and shoot it over. But I like to go through this process just to make sure that everything has a consistent tone to it. This one looks a little bit dark. I'm going to brighten a bit. Boom. A little bit dark. Perfect. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That was our simple pass just to make sure our colors look good. Okay. Now, if I want to do advanced edits, I'll show you a bit of that. But I'm going to use the retouching toolkit from Visual Flow. So this is a pack that we recommend for everybody. If you guys are using Visual Flow presets, get your preset that you like, the pack that you like, add on the toolkit once. You only need to buy the Visual Flow toolkit once, and then you have the toolkit forever. So there's a tools piece, which has all these basic tools, and then we have an AI piece that's using AI tools for it, okay? What I like to do is if I see images that are just like wowzers, like this image, for example, okay? I might choose the best one here, and watch, I'm gonna press start right now, and I'll select, maybe I'll select all 4 of these, and I'm going to go ahead, go down to burn background, and I'm going to click this once, okay? And what this is going to do is just burn down the background a little bit on all of these images. And that makes my subject pop a little bit more. Makes my subject pop, makes the background a little bit more, you know, umphy. I can also do this. Watch this. I have a preset for everybody that is portrait retouch, right? So this is why I don't use the impossible things retouch, because this one is a lot more advanced. But I'll click portrait retouch on this one image. Okay, and you'll see what it does, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to apply it to everything. So it's going to add in multiple layers. It's going to do a little bit of sharpening my subject. It's going to enhance clothing a bit, whiten the teeth. If I turn this on and off, you can actually see it. So let's do it this way. Let's go masks. So this is off. Oh, you're seeing all the pins too. So let me hide the pins. So that's off. This is on. So you can see how it unifies skin tones, makes colors pop, brings the eyes out a little bit, smooth skin tones, all of that, right? So these are all the masks that are automatically added. And what's really easy about this is I'll select all my images, go back to the develop module, and I'll click that portrait retouch. So just select an image, go portrait retouch, and boom, now it's going to apply that same AI retouch to every single image. And this is the subtle version. Like if you click plus or plus plus, it does more, but I like to keep it on the subtle side when I'm applying it to all the images. So I'll literally just click this. If it's more than like right now it's 60 images, this will be done in like less than 2 minutes, right? But if I'm doing this over like 1,000 images, I would do this at the very end. I would click it, go have lunch, come back, and I'd run the export process. But now it's going to go through each image, and because it's very subtle, I don't have to worry about it. So it's just going to do a nice retouch over every single one of these images using these AI-based features that we have in Lightroom in this kind of professional system. Now we can burn the background, we can burn the sky, we can go and do plenty more, but you can see right now that I'm at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Let me see. Go. Load it. There we go. 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And this is going to be done within 2 minutes. So this puts me at basically like 10 minutes and 30 seconds to do this entire edit. And this is where I would say it's done. Okay. So this last phase is when I would do my advanced edits. There might be a few images that I select because I wanted to go a little bit further with them. I want to make them, prep them for a blog, for an album, whatever I'd like. Let me go back to, we'll go camera only. But that's it. That's the editing process that I follow. And I'm hoping that this was helpful for you all to kind of see it just like as it is, because we talk about it a lot and we get a lot of questions like, this seems impossible. It seems, I don't know how people are doing this at this speed, and it's totally doable. We just have to, learn a little bit of like what is a good and proper workflow, and then we have to just practice it a little bit ourselves. But I want to see if you guys have any questions at this point. I'm going to show you the final results in just a second once the retouching is done. But let me see if there's any questions. Miley says, fantastic, saving so much precious time and energy. Awesome. Meredith OM Gah. I like that. OM Gah. Where's the emoji for totally freaking out? Kwame says, this is awesome. Meredith, so helpful. Good. Kwame says, no more stressing about how to get my wedding images out of the way. Absolutely. This is how I also deliver like same day teasers at the wedding itself, because I just take those images in, run it through Impossible Things. I'm usually so here's one bonus. I actually star images in camera that I know I want to deliver as teasers. So I don't even have to go through the culling process. So while I'm shooting, if there's a 30-minute break, all I do is I take my card out, pop it into Lightroom Classic, upload just the starred images, the ones that I know are my teasers, and then I throw it into Impossible Things and give it a quick scan and look, and now I have 60 teasers to give them the same day. And that gets them so hyped. All right. I'm going to press stop on my recording. 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's go back to the screen and I'll show you. So basically for each one of these now, you'll see that it's done a little bit of retouch. So look, it sharpens my subjects. If I turn this on and off, you can see how it just like lightens everything. I'm going to turn off the pins so you can see it without the pins. Isn't that beautiful? It enhances hair. It does all the details. Now, you could step this up if you go too far. So this is level 3 of it. Then on some images, it's doing too much. Okay. So that's where find your taste with it. And by the way, I'll show you one other thing too. So this is in the retouching toolkit. If I go right here, right, and I go, I want this one to be not only retouched, but I also want the background to be popped. I want enhancements. So instead of just choosing portrait retouch, I'm going to choose retouch with pop and enhance. Now watch what this does. This is going to pop the entire background. Okay. Okay. And I can go up and down in the level that I want to go. Now let's say I want to do it like right there. I'm going to add one additional step to this image where I just add a radial burn to the center. And look at what this preset did. So this preset it just added these layers where it actually sets up the background and enhances everything. And if I want to, I can even like go into it and I can make the background just a little bit more blue. Isn't that insane? Like this is automated, right? So look at what the image would look like before and then after. It's absolutely bonkers. So this is one of my favorite things to do is with the Visual Flow retouching toolkit is you just use in the one and done section, these are all the kind of combined retouching options where you can just basically click retouch with pop and enhance. If you want just portrait retouch only or pop and enhance only, it does that. But it does such a beautiful job. If we have close-ups like this, I can go and maybe bring up the retouching level, okay? I can bring this up to say level 2, level 3, and maybe for this one I want to keep it at level 3. I like it a little bit more on this one. Actually, I'll back it off just a little bit. So I think we're losing a little bit of skin tone. I love that. Maybe for something like this, I add in a radial burn so that we bring that attention right into her. This is literally our entire workflow. Oh, I hid my pin, so let me place the pin right over her. And look at how beautiful this is. Isn't that crazy? So shooting manual in camera, you can see what I mean now. It's definitely beneficial. When you're using impossible things, though, it kind of makes up for a lot of that. I don't want you guys to be lazy when you're shooting, that being said. So I'm kind of like I want you to dial things in camera. But yeah, impossible things, the whole goal of this is that it unifies and corrects exposures and it corrects everything for you. Let's see if there's anything else fun that we want to do in this scene and set. I think we've kind of covered it all. Oh, you can kind of see how now my previews are slowing because I've made edit adjustments. So this is what I'm saying. If you're trying to cull inside the develop view, it kind of runs pretty slow like this. So it takes time for it to move from image to image. But I love this set. It looks fantastic. Less than 15 minutes as promised. In fact, we did it in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm going to jump back here for just 1 second. I have prepped the actual PDF for this. So if you guys would like it, I'll upload it to the files and I'm going to get it to each of you as well. But let me know if you guys have any questions. I think we're good for this. I'm just going to scan through the comments and make sure. So let's see. Adrian said, love using impossible things. And yes, starring images makes life easier for me. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you're using it. Glad you're using that part of the workflow. Lisa said, so when finished, delivered, etc., how do you archive? Do you move off SSD and onto standard external drives, cloud, etc.? So Lisa, what we like to do is, that's a really great question, by the way. Let me go back to Lightroom Classic for just a second. So now that once we've delivered, we actually would go back to the catalog now, and all the images that are marked rejected, I would select them all by just selecting unflagged images, or if you chose to reject them, you check the reject images. But I would choose unflagged and then press Control A, and this is where I would actually remove every one of these photos from disk. So I would just go delete from disk now. And I like to keep this is after delivery, after the client is happy, right? We don't do this, like usually we give like a 3-month window. We don't do this right after the shoot because if they say, are there any more images? Are there any other things that, if they ask for anything else and we need to go back and scan, we don't want to have deleted the images. So around the 3-month mark, they've been delivered, they're happy, we know they're good. This is when I'll go in and I'll just select all of the rejected images, delete them, and the 60 images now we would archive, and those are the only ones we would save. So just the images, the raw images that we have that we've kept are ones that we would save. I know a lot of studios that only keep JPEGs. We like to keep the catalog and the RAWs because we use them for a lot of different things. We might use them for printing, we might use them for education. We just want to have those RAWs available to us. So those RAWs we save on external NOS drives. You can it's a network attached storage drive. So if you're only keeping the images that you are delivering, you can actually, like a few terabytes is going to last you an entire year, maybe more. Okay. So if you're just keeping those, plus whenever you upload to say Pixieset or a gallery-based system, you have the JPEGs automatically archived anyways for safe storage as well. So that's kind of our process, is we keep the RAWs on a separate drive. Those are the ones that we keep kind of like indefinitely. And then the JPEGs are safely stored in the cloud via like our gallery-based system. Let's see here. Will it work on individual images? So if one image is darker, the image is bright. Yes. So Victor, Impossible Things actually checks the images before and after, and it unifies them. So that's why when we ran it right now, that's why you get such consistent results when it goes through, because it's looking at the image before and after. And if it's saying this is a similar scene, we're going to get these to roughly the same place. So that's already built into the algorithm. And by the way, this algorithm is getting better and better. Jeff keeps improving it over time. When we first released it, it was good, but now it's freaking awesome. So it's doing tremendous. Meredith, I appreciate you throwing up the link to that. I have also included, so in the description of the video is all the links to everything that we have mentioned here and what we use. Let's see here. Havana said the global modern soft light, all AI from impossible things is clear for me, but where is specific background and portrait enhancer? Okay, so Havani, our system for development, I'm going to go ahead and pull up let me pull up a new screen right here. And I have this linked up in the description too. If you go to vfpresets.com, these are the different packs that we have available. This is our preset company. So VF Presets is presets that I've developed for use in our studio and professional use. So Modern was the pack that we're using. And then the AI Retouch, this is the retouching toolkit for Lightroom. So this is just its own standalone toolkit, but you can also buy it with the pack. So if you're getting Modern, or if you're getting one of the packs, for example, then you can say down at the bottom, you can say, I just want the preset pack, or I want the retouching toolkit and Modern built in together. Okay, so it always gives you this option. You buy packs individually. You only need to get the retouching toolkit once. So once you have it, you don't buy that again. It's the same setup each time. And then it's ready and available for you. Okay, so who do you use for delivery services? Edwin, we use Pixieset for that. Where can we find video for Kwame? I'm going to post it. So right when we're done with this, you can actually click the same post and you can watch the replay. We'll also do a little post too later so we can send out links for it. Are there discount codes for VF coming back soon? At the moment, Meredith, there are not. The next probably will be around Black Friday or so, but we don't have any. I don't think. Yeah, I think the summer sales just kind of passed. Let's see. Jorge said, I always had problems with exposure when I use impossible things. By the way, Meredith, you won't be disappointed with these. Yeah, people love these systems. The Visual Flow Toolkit system is a patent process system that we developed for lighting. It's lighting condition based development. It makes it incredibly easy to process and edit your images. So you won't be disappointed with that. Always had problems with exposure when I use impossible things. Jorge, give it another go. It depends on this is primarily designed for wedding and portrait type work. So it's portrait work that's outside the studio. If you're trying to do things inside the studio where everything is already super consistent, it's not really designed for that. And honestly, I don't know if you need an AI editor for that, because if you're shooting in a very controlled environment, you just pop on a preset, make an adjustment across the board, and you're done. So this is really for external, like outside shooting, location-based shooting where things are run and gun. And also, Jorge, make sure you set up your custom tuning, because we have a lot of people that try impossible things and then they quit because they're I didn't get the results I wanted. And we're well, number one, you have to choose a preset you love. It needs to be something that you love, because the whole look that it develops off of is based on the preset you choose. And number two, you have to custom tune it so that preset, that AI style is in your style. So once you choose a preset, you can custom tune. So let me just show you real quick how to do that. So all I would do if I wanted to custom tune is I go back to the file menu, I go to plugin extras, and I go to custom tuning. Okay. Now this is going to bring up this dialog right here. This is where I can select any preset that I have installed. So for example, if I was editing with soft light, right, I choose this and I can make all of my adjustments. I can choose if I want to bring the predictive nature of impossible things down so it's not doing as much. I can make adjustments to exposure, to temperature. I can do anything I want here to custom tune it. And we have a tutorial on how to do auto tuning, which makes it easier because you're not even having to drag sliders. You just edit a few images and it automatically populates this for you. But you want to make sure that you do the custom tuning first, because this is where you dial in your preferences to your style and taste. Okay. Let's see here. Amy said, I have downloaded and installed things, restarted Lightroom Classic. Can you show us how to use things again, please? Amy, I would say just watch this again, or there's a complete tutorial on just things itself, on how to optimize it, and I'll point you to it right after we finish here. So I want to keep this one short and sweet. I think we've gotten to all the questions and everything. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Please, if you have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to immediately put up a post for the other two trainings. So that way, if you guys want the other two trainings on Lightroom Classic, the optimization as well as how to optimize and tune impossible things, I'll put that up as well. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next week. Hope you all enjoyed. And this is one time where I forgot to again switch this back to my camera. All right, guys, we'll see you all soon.